Okay, for this project, I'm going to be using this tote that I found at the flea market, and I'm going to be turning it into a storage for one of my craft supplies. But first, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and paint it in the color Magnolia by Dixie Belle. And then I will paint that, and I'll be back to show you what I'm going to do with this wooden tote. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm taking some old ribbon spools that I had, and I'm taking off this part right here, the bigger round piece, and opening all that up. And I'm going to cut this spool in half. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I got a few different sizes of these. So I'm just taking the paper ends off, and I'm cutting them in half. And I'm going to go ahead and do a few more of these, and then I'll be back to show you what I'm going to do with them. Okay, so here's what I have done with the empty ribbon spools. I've cut them in half, and I've put them on the handle of my tote. And I was thinking about this, and I think if they're sturdy enough, you might be able to cut down paper towel rolls that are empty, or toilet paper rolls that are empty, and you could cut them down to the size that you want. But I already know that these had ribbon on them, and what size that those were. So that's why I'm using that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some clear like packing tape, and I'm going to press the roll together where I cut it. And I'm just going to tape it up. Just go around and tape each one of them. Okay, so I'm going to do the other 4 here, and then I will be right back to show you the next step. Okay, so I have those all taped up. And now what I'm doing is I put a piece of tape on my ribbon, and I found a ribbon the size of this spool, and I'm just going to be wrapping that ribbon around this spool until I get it all on there. And then I'm going to be wrapping ribbon around each one of these, and I will show you what it looks like. Okay, we're going outside to the crafting space. And here, if you didn't guess already, I'm using this to hold my ribbons. So I'm going to hang it on the wall. I've put 2 D-hooks on the back of this. I did not paint the back because it's going to be up against the wall, so I was saving on paint. I'm going to hang it up on the wall, then I'm going to store some more of my ribbons in there, and then I'll have a shelf up on the top. So this would be more ideal if you found a tote that had a removable dowel rod in it. So you could just take the dowel rod off and put your spools on, instead of like wrapping your ribbon around the spools like I did. But still, I think it's a really cute idea. And I've had one of those ribbon holders before where there's several different small dowel rods, and you can put all kinds of ribbons on there, but they always fell off, and it was very frustrating. So I'm going to try this and see what happens. I'm going to be putting it right over here. I have an empty space right there, and that's where I'm going to be putting it, and it fits perfectly in there. So I will show you once I hang it up. Okay, so here is what I have completed. In here, I have just added some extra ribbons. I just went ahead and set this up here because it went with the other two that I already have. So that's what I'm doing for right now. And then I added this little vintage chair pin cushion and the little basket, which has straight pins in it and then scissors. And I added this little tape measure just in case I needed to measure. I'm not always the one that measures, but just in case, it'll be there. And then there's some of my extra ribbons, so you can see them in there. I just think it's a really sweet idea, so I will see how it works, and hopefully I like it. So let me know if you like this idea, or if maybe you will be trying something like this for your ribbons. I mean, this could also sit on a desk too. It doesn't have to hang on the wall. So let me know what you think. And while we're talking about ribbons, I wanted to show you how I store my seam binding. I use most of the seam binding in my junk journaling projects, but sometimes I put it in bows and things that I make. But this is like drink jars, and usually a straw would go in here in the top. And so I just didn't use the straws, and I roll my seam binding up into like a ball, and then I put them in there, and I can usually get three different colors in there, and I keep the name of the color down inside there. But then I can just pull them out like this and cut the amount off that I need, and then I can just carry it. If I need to go back into the house, I can just carry it with me and then carry it back out here. So I just wanted to show you that little idea. It's just, I think I thrifted these, but I think at one time Walmart had these. I'm sure you can still find them. It's just like a little drink carrier that you would use to carry drinks, and then they had little straws that went with them. But I thought this was kind of a cute idea to keep my seam binding in. Okay, so while we're on the subject of storage, I have a question for you all. This is where I keep my washi tape. Down here in this toolbox drawer. This has some Tim Holtz stencils and some other stencils and some acrylic paint. And then this has just little doodads. I probably need to rearrange, and some clips, it looks like. And then this is like a little vintage pasta maker, I think, and I keep all my little like little clips and little pins, that kind of thing for junk journaling. I keep that in here. But this is where the washi tape is, and I'm looking for a new idea to keep to do with the washi tape, because I don't like the way this is. So if you've seen a video, or if you have a good idea of how to store your washi tapes, could you share that with us in the comments? Like if you've seen a video, or you know, just the name of a channel and they had a really good idea for storing your washi tapes, or if you have a good idea of your own, let me know, and I'm sure there's others out there too that would like to know. So yeah, I need a different system to keep all of these washi tapes. So I just thought I would show you a little bit of the outside of the crafting space shed. This is a double wash tub, And the flowers are looking a little bit sad right now, but they're still hanging on for the fall. I have a couple rocking chairs out here. It has a little porch on it. I've already added the little fall pillows. Sorry if it's dirty. It gets really dusty out here. I've already cleaned it off earlier this summer, but it still gets dusty. And I have a little wicker table there with still a basket with some flowers. But that's a little bit of the outside of where I can craft. The weather's getting nicer, so I can craft a little bit more out here. And I want to thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a great day.